The guy that I'm playing in the film is a guy called Sid, who's been recently divorced in the beginning of the film, and he realizes that much to his amusement, he's far happier than he was when he was stuck in a bad relationship. And he notices there are a lot of people around him who are stuck in such similar relationships and are really hating their lives. So he comes up with a brilliant idea of how to create a situation in which people stuck in these loveless, thankless relationships can get an opportunity to find love again by getting split. But the problem with splitting and divorcing is such that it's a very complicated affair in nowadays. So he starts an agency which helps make these splits easy, less hurtful, and at the same time the weak ones don't get the shorter end of the deal. So and he starts this business which starts doing exceeding well, and he meets a girl who is also of the similar idea, and they start this agency together, and eventually they do so well that greed starts to take over, and the trouble they get into their lives and their relationships because of this greed is what the film is all about. My limitations as an actor and a Hindi film hero, I have to make stories and select scripts that show out the best in me, and sometimes they happen to be great scripts that scream to be made. So fortunately for me, after Three Idiots, it wasn't like there weren't many offers, there were enough and more. But I had to select a story that would take me out of the Three Idiots image, create another one, and still be an entertaining film. So Tanu vs Manu fit right in there, and it was quite a dangerous film to do, because as a hero, you will never find anybody who will accept easily to do a role like that. But for me, I knew that's exactly the calling, because it has what I call the smell of the soil, romance, which has a lot to do with the smaller towns and the cities, and that's how romance is, fortunately or unfortunately, in India today. Not everybody who comes back from abroad is a yo dude who speaks in an American or British accent. I mean, if anything else, these guys come back far more rooted in Indian tradition than they left. So it was not a question of trying to change my image as far as this film was concerned. It was a question of finding a script that again screams out to me, that says, hey, this is the one that you should do this year. And at one film a year, it's a huge risk that I take. There is no safety in numbers. So I can't afford the luxury of looking for an image change or looking at working with a certain amount of people or number of people or anything else. It's always dictated by the script, and that's how Jodi Breakers came about to be. What I call my selection of films is idiot-proof. And by that, I mean that when I hear a script, I assume that it will be not directed well. I will not find the appropriate co-star. It might be running into production as well as distribution hassles, and that it's not going to be the best case scenario. Despite this, if on the day of release the electricity was to go off and the director was supposed to come onto the stage and just explain the story to the crowd, they would still find it a worthwhile investment if the story caters to that criteria. Then you know that you have a winner at hand, and you all have to pray that the experience of shooting that film is good as well, because if the experience is good, then there's very seldom a chance that it will not work with the audience. From Rehna Hai Tere Dil Mein to Ramji London Wale to Dil Vil Pyar Vyar, Mumbai Meri Jaan, Rang Di Basanti, Three Idiots, Tanu vs Manu, 13B, they're all very different characters in terms of the fact that they're all gentlemen maybe, but they're still very different people with different persona, different body language, different way of speaking, different lifestyles. So I have had the challenge of keeping my name as an interesting option for a hero in the last 10 years by merely doing 8 films and still have the enthusiasm amongst the audience to be wanting to see the film, which I'm glad to say it is there for this film as well. Having said that, the romantic genre, the romantic films are the most important films that stand the test of time for a hero. If you're doing solo heroes at the age of 42 and you're able to pull it off, then you've got another career of at least 10 years where you can explore other types of roles like comedy or action or intense drama, and that whole gambit is open for me. The romantic hero tag is something that all actors vie to have for the longest time before they switch tracks. Once you go into hardcore action, there are very few people like maybe Saif and Akshay who are able to come out of that and do a romantic film or a comedy film. But having said that, it's only Saif, I think, who's managed to actually stick to an intensely romantic film and make it work. Otherwise, once you've done action, very difficult to revert back to hardcore romance. Working with Bibasha has been a complete privilege. She's the kind of co-star that actors dream of having because like it or lump it, the films are always hero-driven in India. And if anything were to go wrong with the film, it'll be entirely my loss. Having said that, sometimes it's greatly charming and beneficial for a hero if you find somebody like Bipasha who's not just interested in looking the part that she's playing, but also gets involved with the creatives, gets involved with being a producer's heroine, being on time on the set and never delaying, and proactively taking part in all discussions. And I think it makes your life as a hero much easier and makes it a better film in terms of its performance and content. And as far as Bipasha is concerned, I've been extremely lucky. And since cinema is my religion, since I adore it, since I live it, the one thing that endeared me to her completely was her professionalism. And the same goes true to Omi as well. He's moved mountains to be a part of Three Idiots, and now he's transformed himself into a very commercially viable comedian, which is not easily done today. So it was a riot on the set, as you could have seen in our interactions together. And I don't think that when you have so much fun making the film, that the audience cannot see the fun in it. My opinion, being an actor is the top of the food chain. I think there are a lot of directors who came wanting to be actors and then turned directors. So as long as I'm enjoying that, I don't think I will devote any time to any other aspect of filmmaking except for being the main lead of a film. If I feel that I'm getting a raw end of the deal, or if I'm feeling I'm not respected enough as an actor, then I will have to find alternative sources of income. Maybe then I will have a look at what else can be expected from me. Having said that, I'm not qualified enough to be a director because I haven't studied cinema, nor do I know anything about editing or choreography or set design or any other aspect of filmmaking. Next comes the release, after which I'll take a breather and then decide what film to do. I don't have anything particularly in my hand at the moment. Since I'm happy with the income I have, which is doing one film in Tamil and one film in Hindi in a year, I can afford to not listen to a story till my film is released. I'm trying to play a college student at the age of 40 at that time. Not an easy thing to do. And to do it again and be a student for the next 1.5 to 2 years that the film takes to be made, and try to not only have that as a challenge, but also the fact that you've performed this role before and people will be expecting a similar level of performance, is all unwanted pressures for an actor, and I don't dwell in that. I think I only enjoy creating new pathways in a film. It's the easier way out, honestly, and I don't want to do a remake if I can possibly avoid it. Bipasha herself is a very nice person, and I hope that she finds the kind of guy that she deserves. And my wife and I are looking out for somebody like her. But I mean, jokes apart, I think she's a wonderful, wonderful person, and I've had the benefit of earning friends in this film, which is far more than the remuneration that I've got.